My name's Nick Shrewsbury. I do relationship coaching and also leadership coaching with a somatic bent, and I'm based in Boulder. What was going on in my business before I joined the CFJ school? I think the year before I joined, I had made 20K the entire year. And the year before that, I made like 5K coming out of my coaching training. And I was seeing that I was having good impact with people, but I was struggling with renewals and also creating clients just in general. So I came in being like, teach, show me what I don't know. What made me decide to join the school was the sense that you all were, there was some secret pot of people who were enrolling clients at strong fees through service, through genuine heart-centered service. People's lives are changing, and somehow have translated that into clients, people becoming clients. And I was just like, that sounds like a fairy tale, but I would love to learn it if it's possible. I also knew that I wanted to clear out of my nervous system and my body a lot of limiting beliefs around what I could be as a coach. I wanted to be in a room with coaches who were making 400 plus K a year. The moment what I know for myself is I learn best from being in the room with people who are already doing the thing that I want to do. So much comes through me just from that experience alone. So much gets downloaded so fast. And I was like, after I talked with Carolyn, it's funny actually, our enrollment conversation, it wasn't life-changing for me. I just had the sense, I just think I should be in that room. And I have the sense that if I'm in that room, like really interesting things will happen. Yeah, what was I hoping to get out of the experience? Clearing limiting beliefs around money, how much I can earn, the kinds of clients that I can work with. What is a client even? I think I had this mythical idea of a client that will pay me a strong fee. I was seeing them as some unicorn that's somewhere out there instead of there's just human beings all around me all the time. I wanted to be able to enroll clients with a lot more ease. I wanted to raise my fees. I wanted to feel confident in what I was offering, more confident so that I could enroll more strongly. I wanted to feel like I was more relaxed in the process of enrolling and that I was genuinely doing it from service and not fearfully hoping somebody says yes and making this shape with my body. The memorable moments for me in CFJ, some of them were actually completely outside of the school. I just made time to talk with, I just would mark coaches in the school that I was like, that person's really interesting. I feel like I would learn something from them. And then I would reach out and say like, hey, can we chat? And I would just drop in. I dropped in with Clay and Jackie, like specific coaches that just something sparked for me. I was just like, you are doing something really interesting. There's something just in who you're being that I know I need to get some information from. Those conversations were really interesting, and powerful. And I think Clay was a really striking one. Like I spoke with him and we were talking about enrollment conversations. And I was asking him all these tactical questions. And he was like, Nick, I'm just going to stop you. Any tactics I give you just aren't going to be relevant because you're you. And what you need to do is stop trying to figure out the one thing you need to do and just go for it and like be incredible. Essentially, just listen for that and go after it. And he was attuned to me, but it struck me in that moment. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out all these small little things rather than just going for it. Like I have enough tools and enough ideas. I just need to put more energy on the line. There certainly were a lot of ideas that I took away to play with from the school. There were a lot of concepts and ideas, but I think overall it just gave me the courage to go after stuff more fiercely. I actually don't have a lot of like this moment totally shifted everything for me from the school. It was more like it slowly seeped in and I just went after things more fully and more fiercely. It gave me some pathways to go down as well and to play with. And Carolyn also would call me out or, invite me out of certain things that she was like, hey, it feels like you're getting caught up in something here that's not going to bring you what you want. Maybe you could just go to talk, actual be in connection with somebody. I think continually coming back to service was a really important principle. Getting out of the idea of how do I create more money or clients and being more in the mindset of how can I change somebody's life today was much more, way more helpful orientation to come from. So overall, it felt like it was like a slow seeping in of the methodology and the philosophy that just over time, I've watched shift things. I think three things changed for me in my business. The first, I mean, tangibly financially, things changed. That year, I tripled my income. So I made 20K the year before, then I made 60K, and then I made 95K the next year. So continual growth. And I have no question that will just keep growing. It gave me a methodology. Like what changed in my business is I became far more comfortable just serving people full out, full stop. Actually, a pivotal moment that did happen was I I had been offering time to people, and Carolyn and I was like, maybe I'm done with this person. I've offered them two conversations. I think maybe it's time to be complete. And she was like, Nick, if you had one more conversation with this person and they became a client, would you like that? And I was like, yes. And she was like, is there any more to talk about then? So I think it gave me permission to just serve as hard and as fully as I possibly could, and to listen and to have boundaries. If I feel like it's this person is my client, that's great. But if I feel like they are, why hold back from changing their life and serving over a long term, being in the long term relationship of the thing, following up and being in connection with people over years. That's a significant thing that has created clients over the long term. I would also say my comfort with enrolling people is a lot smoother. I can sit down with somebody and be slowing down, be in actual relationship with this person who's in front of me, rather than trying to jump to the gun of are you going to be my client or are you not, and more fully listening for what actually serves you right now. Those things have tangibly changed my business. It feels like the bottom line is just a reflection of that. Another thing I would say is that in raising my fees, I became a better coach. And that's another thing that Carolyn reflected to me was I asked her at one point, if there's one thing you could recommend that would make anybody a better coach, what would you recommend? And she was like, I would recommend that they raise their fees, which felt very counterintuitive at the time, but I think she was totally spot on. When you raise your fees, you're going to have to find the reason why you're worth that. And your coaching is going to have to grow to meet what you're asking for. And that has proven to be true in my experience. I feel really in the seat of being a coach. Yeah, it's like this is full time, this is it, I'm going for it. And I always was treating it that way, but it's lived experience in my body now. I know that this is what I am. I also know that the question of how do I create clients just always needs to turn into how can I create more impact in the world and in specific people's lives. There's like a more settled experience. I also would say, in terms of creating clients, watching Steve come in, it's funny, I'm like finding these pivotal moments as we go, actually. Steve came in and he was speaking about people trying to find clients and seeing it as a mythical unicorn that's somewhere out there. But there's a point where you realize as a coach that you have a glass of water and everybody's thirsty. Truly, everybody wants their life to change. Every single person on the planet has a dream. They have things they want to create. And if you really see that, you also see that you are walking through a sea of humanity that all want what you have. And that's a wild place to come from. Like that's a come from. That's pretty powerful. It's a nourishing place to come from too. Not in any kind of elitist better than way, but in a God, it's good if we all get water. Like that's a good thing that helps the world. Yeah. And so there's something I would say a little more settled in that. And also to know that it's not about me. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's not about like it's about this person and their dreams. Let's keep the focus on that. I now kind of spontaneously have been coaching coaches, and there's a lot of ideas around how do I say what I am and how do I describe what I am and how do I tell people about the coaching that I do. You don't need to, and it doesn't matter. People don't care. Really. I mean, some do, but like me trying to spend all this time on my 5 minute elevator pitch of the kind of coach I am, it doesn't matter. I'm a coach. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me about who you are and what you want. Like, I don't need to be the interesting person in the room. I would rather have somebody have the experience of being super interesting in themselves and also all the magic that they have. The more that I can reflect that in the world, that's just fun. Yeah, recommending to people in the school who are thinking about it. I mean, the first thing is I would totally go for it. If this is something that intrigues you, there's so many different flavors of this thing that could be super transformational for you. Being around all the coaches who are facilitating it will be amazing. Being in a room full of people who are by your side is amazing. Being in a room full of people, many of whom are like really developed coaches that you can connect with, that's an extremely, extremely valuable thing. It's a special thing that the school has such a breadth of layers of where people are at in their coaching career. Super, super special. Like so much will come through from that. So there's a way that I'm like, if you're thinking about it, go for it. It will help. What I'm questioning myself about right now is there anything that I would advise people that will help them in their experience in the school or help them embrace it more fully? I know for me, I was at a moment in my coaching work where I would say actually like a thing that's important to know is you're gonna need a way to connect with people. And the school will help you with that. But just know that a part of this process is you're gonna have to get out and actually connect with human beings. And so just be prepared for that and be considering how might I want to do that. And the school will help and it will help you get into that. And at the end of the day, it's going to be you connecting with other human beings. It's not going to be more complex than that. So there's knowing that that's there. And that can be you getting out into the community and like joining a tennis club. I mean, there's 1,000 different organizations and things where you can go and meet people and connect with them. Like my path when I was in the school, the thing that I really developed is I started doing a bunch of workshops and I would promote them in certain places. And then I would have anywhere from 1 to 50 people come. And I really dove into that path, and that was the way I connected with people. There's going to have to be a finding of how do you actually come across new human beings and serve them. And just knowing like that's part of the parcel. And it can become something that's beautiful and fun. Just know that that's going to be in there in the mix. Walk in expecting that and and hungry for it. Walk in hungry for like, how am I going to connect? How am I going to change lives that will serve you? Don't sit on the sidelines about that. Try to get out there and be connecting as fast as you can.